Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama on the nightcap. The one, the only, Kyle Henderson, Bama football on YouTube. Get inside with the Roll Tide. What's up, fam? I appreciate you being here for the nightcap. I hope you all are doing well. Is anybody tucked in bed? Is anybody in bed? Just post it up. Just kicking it. Man, I hope you all had a fine Wednesday. Did y'all watch the Hey Coach show? I thought it was good. Wednesday's good. You got to see Coach Kalen DeBoer, Hey Coach show, bomb hours, right? Another pivotal SEC game. Tonight's pretty much like a Q&A session. So I'm going to put your questions on the screen. I'm going to run through the topics that are listed. I need your help, okay? I need your help with part 3, which is top plays of the year so far, okay? I got my legal pad out, all right? Like, if you don't know something about me, I am a big list guy. Like, everything that I do is a list. I don't know. I've always been like that. I'm very list-oriented. So we're going to go through the top plays. I'm going to share mine, but I need help from you all right? So more on that in just a second. All right, let me get the opener up, and then we'll do a nightcap roll call. You guys doing all right? How was your day on a scale of 1 to 10? I hope it was an 11. Thanks for kicking it with me. Appreciate it. Kyle Henderson, Bama Football on YouTube. Nightcaps, 9 p.m., a good place for us to kick it, kind of recap the news of the day, right? Tomorrow already be Thursday. Yo, a couple days away from game day. So I think a good place to start, and kind of when I look to going into this game, clearly, kind of as I have on like segment 6 or 7 or whatever, it's a rat poison game. But we all know that. I think we've gone into games before not knowing it was rat poison week. We know this. We've alerted the alarm bells. Everybody knows, hey, it's a rat poison game, right? Like, we're like Paul Revere riding around, rat poison, rat poison. I think the team clearly knows that. Coach Kalen DeBoer clearly knows that this is a rat poison game. There's been games where Alabama hasn't been focused in the past. I think we're past that. Listening to Coach Kalen DeBoer tonight, you know, in his calm, easy demeanor, I think he understands, yo, all right, look, we've learned, we've grown, and we're going to take steps forward. It's a one-game season. We understand that we're on top of the SEC, but it doesn't mean anything because, as Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube says, you haven't clinched a spot in the SEC championship game, and you haven't clinched a spot in the playoffs. So it's a one-game season. And as I've explained to you many different times, that Alabama will be penalized if they do drop any type of game, or even, you know what's crazy? They will be penalized. And I honestly, I believe firmly that they will be penalized if the game's even close. All right, so Kill Tack in with our first super chat. Can we get 10 super chats? Is that too much to ask? 10? All right, let's hope this team is locked in this week. Feels like a letdown game, right? Kind of screams it. It's South Carolina's homecoming game. Top plays, he's got the pick 6, the Georgia fumble, and the big boy screen. All right, 2 out of 3 of the top plays are on my list. Kill Tack, I love you, dog. All right. You might get some special shout outs tonight because I'm feeling grateful for you guys kicking with me right here on the nightcap, right? We got 64 people on here. Can we get 100? All right, let's see who's in for the early roll call on the nightcap roll call, all right? We got Young C. What's up, Young C? Appreciate you being here. Tonette, turn up. What's up, Tonette? I don't think I publicly said this, but I really appreciate you. You know, there's a lot of ladies inside the chat that are diehard Alabama football fans. And Tonette, you are always on the show. And look, this is a Bama fan through and through. So we salute you. Thank you so much. Same thing to Mindy. You know what? Imagine being Mindy, all right? Mindy has said that she lives up in enemy territory. That's Tennessee. You imagine having to live up there? That's the same place Patriot Life lives, okay? And imagine having to deal with daily Tennessee fans living in a fake reality that they thought that they were going to bring cigars down to beautiful Bryant-Denny Stadium and smoke them. Coach Kalen DeBoer said tonight on the Hey Coach show, he didn't realize how early people were smoking cigars, okay? As a coach, you know, you like to see that when it's 0-0-0-0 on the scoreboard, right? I asked my daughter, Lacey, she went to the game, and I asked her, I was like, hey, sweetheart, I was like, you have fun at the game? She's like, yeah, of course, right? And I was like, be honest, when did people start smoking cigars? And she was like, halftime. As soon as Xavier Brown returned the interception, she's like, people started smoking. So Imagine being coach. He's like, game's not over. All right, let's see. Patriot Life. What's up, man? Patriot Life's out in Chattanooga, a longtime supporter of Bama football. Patriot Life, do we have an update on Jenny Cagney? Jenny Cagney, probably the biggest, Alabama fan, along with Toby. I already told you we got to pray for Toby. I explained why earlier today on our show. But do we have an update on Jenny? Jenny Cagney going through stage 4 cancer. So our thoughts and prayers are with her as she continues her fight. And I think the last update was very positive. So we love you, Jenny. We're pulling for you. We have a pink emoji in there for anybody that is battling. So, Jenny, we love you. I hope you see this, and thoughts and prayers with you. All right. I'm going to do this right. I want to get to my people, okay? Alyssa, what's up? Good to see you as well. Bruce Watson, what's up, bro? Cookie all day. Thanks for being up in the house. Miss Kimberly, good to see you as well. We got GP, what's up, dog? Good to see you, man. We got the Ground Rush, 14K, man. What's up? Jackie White, we got to hit the links, bro. Jackie White, I want you to tell me, bro, where you want to play in the springtime, and we're going to go play, okay? What I'd like to do, Jackie White, is I'd like for me and you to set up to when we can hit one of these tournaments, all right? And we go in there in a tandem, right? Amanda Jane, what's up? Appreciate you. Mike, what's going on, man? Good to see you as well. Hattie Mae, what's up, bro? Hattie Mae's out in Birmingham, all right? Hattie Mae told me a long time. I remember everything. Hattie Mae says him and his roommate always listen to Bama football on YouTube. Chris says his day was a 10 out of 10. Good to see you, bro. Yeah, that's kind of those blessings on blessings day. Thank you so much. All right, let's see what Aiden has to say. Aiden with the $5 super chat. What's up, Aiden? Super chats get put right on the screen right away, man. It says, thank you, Kyle, for everything you do. You do so much for us, and we really appreciate you. God bless. 100%, dog. I really appreciate you, too, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Aiden. Thank you, dog. Rita says, I married a Tennessee fan. Well, you must have patience. Patience goes a long way in this world, right? All right, big time. What's up, man? And, man, Kiltac gave 10 Bama YouTube fan funderships. So if you got one from Kiltac, please say thank you. That's what's up, man. That's that type of spirit that we need going into this week. All right. Okay. That's our nightcap roll call. Thanks for being here. I've kind of been floating around with like nightcaps being at like Monday night at 9 and Wednesday night at 9. Okay. So that's kind of where we're at from the nightcap. And like I told you, I go to bed early. Sleep is wealth. Okay. Health is wealth. I'm trying to sleep. I promise you. I'm trying to sleep. I get in my bed. I promise you. True story. I get inside the bed and I'm just like, yeah. All right. This team has a lot of momentum. Okay. Probably the most momentum, and you're starting to hear all the talking heads with major platforms talk about Alabama football. Not to say that they didn't before, but now I think people are starting to really realize, like, for example, like a perfect example of this is like Joel Klatt, right? Kind of like against the grain against Alabama, kind of looked at as a bad guy. They're starting to turn their kind of direction, and they're like, yo, this particular team has what it takes to do a lot of damage, right? And it all starts kind of back with the quarterback play. Joel Klatt, right, former quarterback, starts to understand like what's really going on in Alabama. You start to look at that touchdown to interception ratio. You start to look to how the defense is kind of that bend that don't break. You look at the fact that they just went against 4 consecutive top 25 teams. You're like, oh man, I want to jump on the wagon while there's still room. So you start to see a lot of people turning their tune because they have a lot of momentum. Now, it doesn't take Alabama long to gain momentum, and it doesn't take Alabama long to lose momentum. That's why this game, even against South Carolina, is so critical because you have to put the Gamecocks to bed, okay? And I'm thinking you got to win by a large margin just to kind of continue to set the tone and be like, yo, we're here. We're here. All right, and it doesn't matter if it's South Carolina, it doesn't matter if it's Georgia. This is a one-game season to us because we understand what's at stake every single week because we got punched in the mouth in week 1, all right? And Mitch, I got you, dog. You good? You good? We good? Ethan, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. All right. Okay, so these are my top plays. I need your help, okay? And then we'll do a Q&A here in a little while. All right? Get comfy. All right, so here we go. Okay, so my top plays so far this season off the legal pad, okay? I got, and I'm going to need your help, okay? So just thumbs up if you agree with these top plays. Good evening. I must repeat. Anybody remember that Warren G? Man, this DJ, that album was so fire. It was crazy. Where's my music heads at? I don't see them inside the comment box. All right, so I got Proctor's catch versus Georgia, right? When they lined him up, right, on the outside. It was really a run because it was a behind the line of scrimmage, but that was a play, right? So I got that. Caden Proctor catching a pass against Georgia. I also, and these are in no order. I think I'm going to do a small video and rank the plays, but these are just kind of what came to mind. So Proctor catching against Georgia, right? Xavier Brown, there's already been some ridiculous plays, right? All right, so Proctor's catch, kind of etched in stone. There's already a Daniel Moore's painting this. How about this one, Daniel Moore? Xavier Brown, right? 98-yard INT. That play is going to live for the rest of our lives, okay? So Xavier Brown, Proctor. I also have Proctor again in Wildcat when he did Wildcat against Missouri, right? That was crazy. Seeing somebody that's 370 in Wildcat, I'll never forget it. That surpasses like the fridge. Remember the fridge for the Bears? Where's our 40-year-old fans at? Remember when he like ran from like a 1 yard out? I really hope that Caden Proctor is able to score a touchdown this year. Maybe it'll come. Okay. I got the 4th and 1 against Georgia. When Alabama made a defensive play, I talk about it pretty much every show because it was so awesome to see Deontay Lawson and LT Overton make that stop on 4th and 1. That probably saved the play, right? So, or saved the game. So I got that one. I got the interception against Vanderbilt. Diego Pavia driving down, right? Throws the interception to Keon Sabb. I got the 4th down stop by Draylon Washington on special teams. I got the double reverse pass from, aren't these plays, right? Remember, this is crazy. We've been through 7 games already. I got the double reverse that went to Ryan Williams for a touchdown. Who was that against? Was that against Wisconsin or is that against Louisiana Monroe? I can't remember. Whatever. It seems like that was like years ago, okay? Who was the double reverse pass against? Wisconsin, right? All right. I also have tie to Isaiah Horton against Louisiana Monroe. This was this particular play where he kind of like stepped up, avoided people, and looked downfield and threw on the run. That was also the game. And I thought about adding like an Austin Mack or a Keelan Russell because you know what play stood out was Keelan Russell throwing it to MJ Cherwig, the walk-on. But I felt that if I added that play, people would be like, oh, man, you're just for Keelan Russell and you're against Austin Mack. That play was tight. It's not against – it's just – I don't care who the play is. That was the play. But that's not on my top 10. I also have this is definitely a top 10 play. Tie to Jam to ice the game. Remember that little rollout and he dumped it off to Jam and he got the first down? That play was ridiculous. And then I need your help. This is where I need your help at, okay? I feel comfortable with all those plays. But is there a particular play this year that it was kind of like a top play with Jerry Bernard? Jerry Bernard, like what's the best play that Jerry Bernard has done this year? You know, I was thinking, I was like, man, you know, maybe it came in this last game where they threw it behind the line of scrimmage and it looked like he was going to pass, right? Kind of play broke down, and then he ends up going from like -8 to like +18. So he almost ran for like 30 yards on the play. I don't know what it was, but I was trying to think of a top play for Jerry Bernard. Anyways, all right, so maybe post that inside the comment box, all right? Okay, next topic. The SEC title is certainly visible, okay? Thumbs up, all right? As fans, we can look past one game. And I say that because it's starting to get real. What Alabama is doing right now is certainly real, right? This isn't like, and look, I'm just going to say this. I don't want to start a war, but it's true. Texas A&M, who is 4-0 in SEC play, this is just facts. I'm not making this up. They have not played a top 25 team in the SEC. Right? They've kind of played the lower level teams, which, whatever, they can still beat you. Alabama has played 4 SEC teams and it's 4-0. All right? Now you have Georgia, you have Ole Miss, you have Vanderbilt. You have a lot of teams that have just lost one game, right? Ole Miss as well. But I think if Alabama continues to just handle business, you control your own destiny, and that SEC championship game seems visible. which is one hell of an accomplishment if you can get there. Because at the beginning of the season, I think Alabama's odds to make it there, they're probably like top 4, whatever. People thought that Texas would get there, but I don't think a lot of people really viewed Alabama as a true contender to get to the SEC title game. Now, that's rat poison, right? You lose here, things change, right? A lot of odds and all that stuff. But in terms of like being visible and tangible and part of the goals, it's there. So just a 1-game season will get you there. And how satisfying would it be for us as Alabama fans to follow the team from the start of the season to the SEC title game, right? I'm sure there's a lot of people that would be at that game in not disbelief, but kind of a sense of being proud about what Coach Kalen DeBoer has been able to do from week 1 all the way to like week 14 or wherever that puts us, right? Next topic, Ryan Grubb. I had a video that went out that kind of elaborated about my excitement about Coach Grubb. And these guys, Coach Grubb and Kalen DeBoer, since 2007, when they've been together, whether that's at Sioux Falls, whether that's at Fresno State, whether that's at Washington, or whether that's right here at Alabama, have a combined record of 95-11. That's ridiculous, okay? That's up there with those stats of like Coach Kalen DeBoer, 19-3 against top 25, 6-1 against top 10. Man, when you start to look at Ryan Grubb, I think he's a secret weapon that Kalen DeBoer has. And look, Ryan Grubb has been diligent and trusting Coach Kalen DeBoer to go with Coach Kalen DeBoer where he's gone, right? Eventually, Ryan Grubb is going to go off on his own. And, whenever that time comes, we'll be happy for him. It'll hurt because we understand that these two operate at a very high level. And you kind of wonder, is like, man, is that something that these two guys have to stick together? I don't know. It kind of seems like it. And I think each of those guys learned a lot last year when they didn't have each other, right? Kalen DeBoer had to go to Nick Sheridan. Ryan Grubb was out with Seattle at the NFL. I think those guys learned a lot, and they came back, and here we stand with the 6-1 record and the offense absolutely buzzing. Now, I say that, and I think a lot of people still have question marks about this day and about, like, this point in time is like, well, Grubb is doing great. Yeah, I love him. But, like, why can't Alabama run the football? I wish I could step on the platform tonight and be like, this is why. I don't know why. I really don't. And I think it's going to be a constant thing that we monitor. But I am starting to see inside the comment box that a lot of people feel that it's like Daniel Hill is the guy and, like, Jam Miller's not. Or Kevin Riley's, like, not the guy. And that's kind of disappointing, to be honest. Because, look, like, Daniel Hill has arrived. That's how to look at it. And I'm not trying to create like keep everyone together. I want the best player to play. But like if Daniel Hill was the guy, he would have been starting week 1. And the times that he came in the beginning, he didn't seem like he had it. So sometimes it just takes a player a little bit of time to get there. I think it just adds more arsenal to the backfields. Now you have 3 backs that everybody looks at and is like, damn. Alabama has 3 backs. We have 1, right? Just like Alabama has so many players at the wolf position, so many players at corner. That's where Alabama will really start to separate itself during this point in time is the depth factor, right? Okay, take out Jam. How about Daniel Hill? Take out Daniel Hill. How about some Kevin Riley? Man, all those running backs are different too, which benefits the offense. So it's up to Ryan Grubb to figure out how to really get the ball moving. And with that said, you go back to the last 3 games before Tennessee, Alabama was running the ball. They ran for 137 against Vanderbilt. They ran for 80 and some change before Jam Miller got knocked out. They ran for almost 50 yards against Georgia with 1 running back. And they were controlling time of possession. And that's the most important thing. It doesn't matter the running back that is getting fed the most. The most important thing, and you heard, and you're probably like, Kyle, you sound like a broken record. The first thing that Coach Kalen DeBoer talked about, who watched the Hey Coach show? Eyes up. Who watched the Hey Coach show? The first thing that Coach Kalen DeBoer talked about was time of possession. I promise you. He talked about that. Tyler, what's up, dog? Tyler says, I'm gonna have a Q&A here in a second, but let's see what Tyler has to say. Tyler, what's up, man? Good to see you, bro. I appreciate you. I don't see you often inside the comment box, but I appreciate you being here. He says, Kyle, if we win the Natty, does Grubb take head coaching job somewhere else? 100%. Yeah. He's going to be the hottest name. And that's kind of the double double-sided sword of being so good here at Alabama. And don't, like, we know that this happens, right? It's like ever since I've been here, since 2016, and think about all the offensive coordinators that have changed over. The only thing that stayed constant was Coach Saban, right? So, yeah, like, marry Coach Grubb and fall in love with him, but understand that in this world, and let me ask you this, like, and just be honest with yourself. You don't have to put it onside the screen, but, man, like, is Ryan Grubb, does he seem like a head coach? The way he talks, the way he coaches, does he seem like a head coach to you? Because he does to me, okay? All right, and David Bolt, man, what's up, bro? I appreciate you, man. Great content. Big fan of your show out in D.C., man. You know, I used to live in D.C. I talk about this openly. I lived in physical D.C., literally right behind the Capitol building. So if you know where the Hart building is, I lived right across the street from the Hart building. So I go in the Hart building underground, and I would take the underground train to the Longworth building where I worked for a congressman. And then a different time, I lived in Alexandria. So you know where Braddock Station is on the blue and yellow? I'd take blue or yellow down to LaFont Plaza, transfer out to Federal Triangle, pop up, and I worked at the EPA. So, man, I love D.C. I had such a good time. You find me at all the clubs, hanging out with all my friends, and, man, best time living out in D.C., 1,000,000%. All right. So, yeah, does Grubb leave if Alabama – the better Alabama does, Grubb is going to continue to be highlighted, which he should, okay? And that's just how it's going to be. I personally think is like if USC opened up, Grubb would be candidate number one, okay? And that would be scary as hell if Ryan Grubb went out to USC, all right? That would just be terrifying. All right, rat poison is for real. I've explained this a million different times this week, all right, and every day up until that game. Just to kind of reiterate, and maybe some players will see the video or who knows, but damn, it's like this team is ranked 127 in offense, right? This team is 3-4, right? This is like everything that you think of. You're like, oh, finally, we get a break. We get a break. We just played Georgia. We played Vanderbilt. We played Missouri. We played Tennessee. Oh, kick off your shoes and relax your feet and party on down to the South Carolina beach. Just kick it. No. Wrong. South Carolina's quarterback is mean and nasty. And last year, he was a problem. And this team, if they can somehow salvage this season, you know what? Having Bama on your schedule is perfect if your season is falling off the rails. Because you could be like, hey, guys, guess who's coming to town? Bama. The nation is going to be nobody's going to be watching any other game in the country except ours. So can you stand up and beat Bama? Let's upset them. Come on, let's go. That's exactly what they're going to be talking about, right? It's their homecoming. They're going to be amped up. So it's like, don't overlook anybody in the SEC. Nobody, okay? Keys to the game. We'll go over this more tomorrow on our Thursday show. But once again, time of possession, okay? Don't turn the football over. Do not turn the football over against these guys, okay? A first half turnover will keep this game close, okay? So don't turn the football over, whether that be an interception, a fumble, and don't miss a field goal, okay? If you have a 48-yard field goal, take a timeout, and Ryan Grubb, you draw something up that you've been saving for a rainy day, and you run it with Ty, or if Jerry Bernard has to throw it to Caden Proctor, that's what you do. But do not lose the momentum in the first half, because this stadium, these fans will be on their feet for the first half of this game, okay? Now, if you can punch them in the mouth right away with one of those long sustaining drives, the fans will bounce out and the game will be over, right? It won't take, they have a soft chin. Don't give them hope. Don't give a team like this hope, okay? Score prediction, I don't know. I mean, you want some more rat poison for me? Give me like a, man, I think Alabama probably scored 38 in this game, and I think it'd be like 38-7. All right, so there's some more rat poison. I'm like, don't give him rat poison. Here I am with gasoline. So, but that's just me talking. I'm the rat poison too, okay? Don't give him rat poison. I'm over here like, yo, here's the rat poison on your charcuterie board. All right, okay, I'm going to open up for a Q&A session. So if you have a question for me, post it inside the comment box, and then we'll dip out, and then we'll get some sleep, all right? So who's up first? Who has a question? It can be anything. Treat it like a Reddit. Ask me anything. It could be game related. Could be hip-hop related. Could be Warren G related. Could be DC related. Could be LA related. Could be Pella, Iowa related. Could be New Mexico related. Young C has it 38. And remember, we'll do our score prediction call-in show on Friday. I love that show. John Smith has it 42-0. Young C has it 38-10. Let's see. David M says this. All the apples. So this game coaching staff has to preach. You win this, you get a week off, and then you get LSU. 100%. All right, man. Samuel's like, when you start rapping, man, I've been messing around with hip hop for a long time. You know, I grew up a true hip hop and country head. Is the weirdest like combination. I don't know if that's normal, but like I would go from listening to Common to like Warren G to like Garth Brooks and George Strait. So like I know I like mess around and I'm like, you know, mess around freestyling on here or whatever, but honestly, like find me singing my heart out to like old school George Strait or like Morgan Wallen for the new age, or like I love Chris Stapleton. One of my goals is to continue to learn the guitar, and I love music so much. It's just been a part of my life, but I grew up hip hop and then country western music. So like Toby Keith or, you know, any of the greats. I mean, I go way back. And that's just kind of been like part of who I was and who I grew up to be. All right, let's see. We have let's see. Ethan says, does Daniel Hill get an explosive TD in this game? I think the way to look at Daniel Hill is this guy's a problem. Okay, like the more opportunities that he gets, and the more confidence that he gets, and the more confidence that he gets from the coaching staff. Think about it. This guy was a state champ at the 300-meter hurdles, okay? I was talking to my dad. My dad was a track coach, and my dad coached volleyball as well. And he was like, you understand that, like, the 300-meter hurdles is the hardest event to run in all of, like, track and field. And this guy is 250 pounds with that type of athleticism. So the more confidence that Daniel Hill gets, if anybody saw me stream this silly game on NCAA football, I started playing with Daniel Hill. I started running for like 220 yards a game. It was crazy. He turned into like Derrick Henry on my game. So I think they get him more opportunities. I still think Jam is a featured back. I think Riley is kind of like your quick burst guy. And Daniel Hill just gives you another element to keep feeding you and keep controlling that time possession. You win time possession, you win the game. That's it. It doesn't matter how many points you score. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, right? Actually, in Bama's case, you better win by a lot or you will be judged. Big Matt, what's up, dog? Where you coming from, man? I appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. Alyssa says, what's up, Alyssa? You better call in on Friday. We've been cooking on those call-ins. Alyssa says, how do you feel about all the gadget plays? You know, I'm not like a gadget type player. You're not going to find me like going to old school Tecmo Bowl and doing that play where like Dave Meggett catches the ball and throws it back to Phil Simms and he like throws it down the field. But I do have to say, I think the gadget play is exciting for Alabama recruits. I think it's exciting for Alabama fans. I think Alabama football, sometimes you see them as kind of, it might be like vanilla, like run, pass for a touchdown, pass, same type of jerseys, all this stuff. The gadget plays are like, wow, Alabama's doing like new age stuff. Let's go to Alabama. So I think the gadget plays, and they do work, right, for the most part. But I think like recruits seeing, we see gadget plays different, but I think recruits see gadget plays as like, yo, do you see what Ryan Grubb did with Caden Proctor? That's how they see it. So that's kind of like the changing of the jerseys. But I'll tell you what, a gadget play gone wrong, that's worse than a turnover, okay? You throw it to Jerry Bernard fumbles it, and I think, and I don't, look, I just be honest, okay? You throw it out to Caden Proctor. Best offensive tackle probably in the country, right? Getting up there. Somebody goes low on him. Somebody hits him low. This team's a lot different without Caden Proctor. So you got to be careful in those type of situations. I think I probably, the last thing I do with Caden Proctor is have him do like a tush push or something like that. But in terms of like utilizing Caden Proctor, he needs to be at tackle more than he needs to be at Wildcat. Just my opinion. Let's see. Brian says, yo, LSU and Texas A&M at home. Man, that's a damn good game. You know, I would think that call me crazy, but I think I might take LSU here. You know, look, I've been wrong on scores, but I've been right on scores too. This is an interesting one. I think all the money's on A&M, right? I don't know. This is an interesting game on Saturday, 100%. What else we got? Ephraim says, should Ty Simpson come back? User in the chat has started a war. Nah, he's done, man. That's it. Like, he moves on, and he goes on, and he's drafted by the 49ers. And I draft him in my fantasy football team, and we cook. He's done. Like, yeah, I think I was talking to a buddy this morning at my workouts, and we were talking about who he's comparable to. And I think a good comparison, honestly, is like a Bo Nix. I think they have the same type of athleticism. I don't think he's comparable to Jackson Dart. I think Dart is excellent. That guy's a baller. I think what separates the two is like Jackson Dart is faster vertically. But not to say that Ty Simpson isn't like an athlete. I just think that he's kind of got like a Bo Nix and kind of like a Baker Mayfield style. Now, one thing that has certainly improved, I think over time, is Ty Simpson's arm strength. And I think that's why he's ready for the NFL. I think back to this, Ephraim. The throw that he had that's on my list where he hit Isaiah Horton against Louisiana Monroe, where he stepped up and kind of like fired. Yo, that was like an NFL type throw. So Ty Simpson, he goes to the NFL. He makes a lot of cash. All right. Mindy says this, Kyle, do you believe our run game is bad because our offensive line is not creating enough space? This is like, I don't know. I want to ask like an offensive line guru or like a run game guru what's going on. And you know what's scary is this is why Seattle Seahawks fans were mad at Ryan Grubb. Is they're like, he didn't run the ball. He couldn't run the ball. And now that Alabama's ranked 103 in rush, you're like, oh, crap. Were they right? But you're like, but the offense is doing well. What's going on? I don't know. This is something that I think we're going to continue to track. If if Alabama finishes the season ranked like 100, we have to talk. But they're winning. So, you know, I don't know. Is it on the offensive line? The Pro Football Focus grades, I know some people like them, some people don't. They're not very good for the offensive line in terms of like, you know, run blocking. So it could be a compilation of things. I don't know. This is something that I am certainly tracking. All right, what else we got? Your average gamer. Do you believe this team has what it takes to win the Natty? 100%. Yes, I do. And that's not being fancy or whatever. I just think that, look, and Ohio State fans probably going to hate me for this, but I have to talk facts, okay? Ohio State will point out Florida State lost, right? Everybody will. They're like, but let's just talk about Ohio State. Really good football team. Great quarterback, weapons at wide receiver, elite defense. They've only allowed 41 points, in 7 games. Impressive. But they're pumping their chest off beating Texas, right? They're like, we beat Texas. We beat Texas 14-7. They were number 1 in the country. Were they? I don't even know if teams should be ranked that early, because if you're pumping your chest about beating Texas by 7, is Kentucky maybe the number 1 team? Because they just took them into overtime. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you can't judge a team based off the first game of the season. And that's why I'm just saying is like, okay, well, who else have you beat? They're like, well, we beat Illinois. Okay. Who else? So, I mean, look, Ohio State's going to be there. Ryan Day, he's gotten them there before, right? They won a national title game. They play Michigan at the back end of the season. Ohio State will be there, but in terms of like Alabama winning a championship, yeah. And I think one of the biggest reasons why is they have the depth to sustain that, okay? They have depth. And to play 16, 17 games, you're going to need depth. There's not a lot of teams that could survive already what Alabama has gone through from an injury standpoint. They lost Tim Keenan. They lost Jan Miller. They lost Quay Rusaw, right? They lost John Latham. They lost Jeremiah Beeman, right? Ryan Williams didn't play a game. Ryan Williams didn't catch a pass during a game. And guess what? In all those games, other guys just stepped up. Think about this. Where else could it be in college football where a player like Ryan Williams doesn't even catch a pass and you're like, man, I didn't even know he played. Did he play? Lazier Brooks is the guy. Only at Bama. All right, Kiltack says this. 49ers, he's going to go to the Jets or the Raiders. Oh, my goodness, bro. I hope he doesn't go to the Jets. Can you imagine? Oh, God. Man, and I thought the Titans would do better with Cam Ward, or Cam Ward would do better with the Titans. I don't know what's going on with him. I have him on my fantasy team. He's not my starter, but Cam Ward gets like 10 points a game. All right, Mitch is saying that LSU beats A&M. I kind of was thinking, man. I'm kind of thinking that. Pogo Power, what's up, man? I don't know what you were referring to, but I just want to say what's up to you. Good to see you, bro. All right, I'm cruising for more questions inside the comment box. If I missed you, ask it again. I'll be here for just a few more minutes. Let's see. 44.8 says, Grubb got to stop doing duo runs. Do you mean this? Like, he'll run. It'll be like first down for Bama. He'll run with like a dive to Kevin Riley. And then on 2nd and 9, he'll be like, let's do it again. and it's like, now it's 3rd and 8. And you're like, all right, Ty, you got to go out there and got to make something happen. And he does, but I'm kind of over 1st and 2nd to Kevin Riley. PZ says, I'm happy Ty is better than everybody thought he'd be. Yeah, look, man, shoot. Ty, woo, what a season. And I'm still working on this graphic. I got caught up in, adult life today. But I want to create a graphic that kind of highlights the quarterbacks, how they've all fared through 7 games. And I think the only quarterback that was better than Ty since 2017 was Tua. And I think that Tua, during the first 7 games in 2018, it was crazy. It was, I think, 27 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. Think about that. That's nasty work, okay? All right, let's see. We got King's Family, what's up, dog? King's Family says Bone Thugs or 3-6 Mafia. Oh, I go Bone Thugs. Look, I like Bone Thugs to me, I don't know what it was for me, but like First of the Month, Crossroads, like those songs, I still listen to those songs. I have, my best friend lives up in Boston, Back Bay. Anybody know where Back Bay is? And he was one of my roommates that I live with up in DC. And to this day, 25 years later, I still send him, First of the Month. So, Bone Thugs went hard for me. I don't know. It was just kind of part of like growing up for me. So Bone Thugs all day long. All right, what else we got? Oh, Pac or Biggie. Man, this is like, come on. I can't, I don't want to be like politically correct and be like, I don't know. It's a tie. But who isn't a tie for it? Like, credit to you if you could like really have a definitive answer between Pac and Biggie. Like, I grew up in the West, right? So I was closer to kind of like West Coast rap, whether that was like Exhibit, whether that was Dre, Snoop, Pac, right? But also like part of my life was Biggie. And what about Notorious B.I.G. and Bone Thugs? You know what I'm saying? Or like B.I.G. when he crossed over like Jay-Z, like, it was tough for me. So I don't know. I don't want to answer that. I rock them both still to this day. I work out to like Nipsey Hussle, Pac, Biggie. Like that's kind of like my squad. It's hard. I guess if I had to choose, God, I'd probably go Pac. Oh man, that's tough. I hate that. I can't believe you guys made me do that. All right, Kiltack says you should look at the college football number spider charts. They really show how good Ty has been. Okay, cool. I'll write that down. I didn't even know like what that was. Okay, I'm gonna write that down. I have a whiteboard like on my desk, and I have whiteboards like everywhere because I operate off whiteboards. All right, two different styles. Pac was culture and politics side. Biggie was talking about what was going on. Yeah, I mean, it was tough for me. And I hate that people kind of like, is like you got to be one or the other. I don't know. It's tough. All right, J. Cole says, God bless. Jesus Christ be with you all and everyone. Roll Tide. 100%, bro. I appreciate it. I love the spiritual messages. I've been open with my spiritual journey. And, during the summertime, really this spring into the summertime, I started kind of messing with a spiritual channel. And it's still some place that I want to definitely explore. I just felt it was a little bit challenging for me to not be as versed and like tightened up in that facet of my life. And I feel like I want to be more tightened up before I go kind of public with that space in my life, because I don't want to let people down, and I just like prayer. I think is there a right way to pray? I mean, I felt like I was like on the right track, but I felt like I just didn't want to let people down. And I don't know. That was I didn't know what to do, to be honest. I kind of felt like I was not necessarily like trying to like overperform, but like, I wanted to like pray in the right, because when I step on here, I don't even have to have notes. I can just talk college football, right? But like prayer is an area that I like need so much growth in that spot. So I kind of felt that I just wasn't like doing it justice. So I think I'll come back to it, and it's definitely an area that I want to go for, but I don't know. It was an interesting experiment for sure, but not something that is over. Maybe just like on pause. So cool. All right, fam. Well, I think that's a good spot for us to. Oh wait, Neil says this. Jalen Milroe or Ty Simpson. What's up, Neil? Good to see you, bro. I think that one has been self-answered. And Andre says, Kyle, do you agree if Milroe was in Vandy or Gus Bus offense, he would be lethal? Probably. I mean, shoot, you give Gus Malzahn a running quarterback, good night, right? You saw what he did with Tommy. How about Hugh Freeze, right? That's what's so scary about that game at the Haunted Barn at the end of the season. I don't care what Auburn's done. That quarterback is crazy. He's fast. He's good. Ethan, what's up, dog? Good to see you, man. Yeah, I appreciate all your spiritual messages. Shelly, what's up? Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. All right, so my wish for you, fam, is to get good rest, to say your prayers, stay where your feet are at. Thank God for this beautiful day. We wake up tomorrow, we get 1% better. We keep pushing forward, right, to the next Saturday. We'll have a good show tomorrow. We'll talk keys of the game, continue to preview this game, which we cannot overlook. Do not treat this game as it's just like a walk in the park. Don't play this game with slippers on, all right? You need cleats. You need 3/4, all right? You need to go in. You need to strap it up. Make sure your mouthpiece is in. I'm telling you, you get your bell rung by anybody in the SEC. Alabama will be judged for it, 100%. All right. B. Miller says, you're a wizard. I love your show, man. Thank you so much. I love you too, man. I appreciate the support. All right. Get rest, fam. Sleep deep, right? Just sleep. Shut your mind off. Charge your phone in the other room. Your phone will be there. Your work will be there, right? You got to sleep. All right. I love y'all. And I think it's time for the outro, right? Turn the music up. Turn the music up on the headphones. Y'all. All right, fam. Love y'all. Thanks for watching Bama Football on YouTube. Live every day, 10 a.m. Central Time. Or as major news happens. Say your prayers. Stay where your feet are at. Be grateful for the blessings. And we will catch you soon on the next show. Or on the next nightcap. Right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Good night, man. Love y'all. See ya.